Depends on that hurricane. Yeah, I don't know what they think is going Do you have any idea where it'll turn? Well, that's news for you. Are you sure? Yeah.
Oh, sure. You did. He wants to bring the plan down. Oh my God.
What we do. Well, you tell me, but that's the first thing that just didn't like that from the office. I know that.
Right, well, because he was calling me.
Jody. Mike can't be here. He's tied up. Alexander. He's the have to be on there. So we should therefore bring down the I didn't know. Because I was looking at look on the website. They have it actually, it's a new website. And it has they have a Twitter account and stuff that people send in. You know, they're upset about the parking commission in Philadelphia. You know, he responded like to that one. He said, well, they better get ready to open their book. We're going to. What time are you jumped on?
I'm gonna do the same thing. That works. Figure the more we have, the better. I'm having an awful time deciphering those windows to type. Oh, I bet. Zero problem? Yep. And my IT guy working on trying to clean them up a little bit, but he's not even having much They're usually just many people. Usually there's 5 of us. Gee, I know who 4 of them are.
Any more chairs?
They made an official decision, and you're here representing them.
I'm not sure if she's here coming or not. She told me she wanted down.
As a result of this,
I think they better bring some more chairs in.
Yeah, join the club.
I think you better go grab some chairs, Doug. So you have a YouTube channel and a Facebook page.
Yes.
Hey, we talked about, remember we talked about Steve. What about Leslie? Running.
She works for me. Works for me.
I mean, just a thought.
Oh yeah, I could work.
I mean, she knows, you know what I mean? She knows everybody.
That'll work.
She didn't tell me that.
She's on her way.
It'll be a conservation zone area or something.
I was just gonna say, if you want to bring chairs in, but you got it covered for cheap.
Smart girl. All right, let's get underway here and for everybody real quickly show where I'm coming from. I received a call earlier from the office saying, we have no plans to take care of tonight. Do you want to have a meeting? And based on our last meeting, somehow we wanted to discuss some things in reference to getting up to date and so forth. I said, yeah, let's go have a meeting. And then we get here tonight and we have a rather large gathering. There's a couple of things we're going to have to cover first, and then there will be some information presented, both from a cover letter, and we have a gentleman here tonight from the solicitor's office that will also present some information. But I understand that we first have the representative from Columbia Gas.
Good evening. I appreciate the opportunity to come before the planning commission. We just, we wanted to drop off, if there's, make sure that there's no additional comments, and pretty much drop off a final plan for the Gibraltar compressor station. And we just provide that to the planning commission for y'all's final review.
Okay, did you have any specific or significant changes or
No, sir.
additions?
No, at this time, we had no changes. There was none, no comments provided by the planning commission or anybody else to, for us to solicit any changes. We have currently our EGCB2 and also our stormwater management plans being reviewed by Washington County. We're waiting, we expect those approvals back within the next month or so.
So you're essentially saying this is your like final draft of the project?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, and
Other than barring any changes, if we get some changes back from Washington County, we'll have to incorporate those into the plan and subsequently bring you guys a new set of plans showing those changes.
the conservation district or
Conservation District.
Washington County
Yes,
Conservation
sir.
District?
And we also, we're currently getting a final set of building plans put together. As soon as those are sealed and delivered to us, we will get to the building commissioner for his approval.
Any questions or comments on
No, you just have to wait for that, the buildings that you're gonna be constructing on there, so those are already taken care of.
Yes,
We're
I
good on that.
I'm sorry. I have a further question.
Sure.
And I asked you about this on the phone. Can you tell people about any road restoration? Because that road is already being deteriorated from all the pipeline traffic, as you're probably aware of.
Right.
So I was just wondering.
We are currently have the road bonded, and we met with Ed at the Donegal Township Road Department, and we reviewed basically the route that we plan to take with all the construction, and pretty much we kind of proved to him that we could get in there without doing any widening. We might have to take some additional trees down just for clearance issues, but we'll talk to the local, the local landowners for that. But as far as our plans to do any widening, we do not plan to widen any of the road, but we will do some grading and maybe some gravel, working in conjunction with the township's road department.
Could you do any widening if that was requested?
With the time frame that we have,
You said it would take, what, a year to construct this?
we're gonna start construction around May or so, and it should be up and running by November of this time next year.
So a year from now.
By the time that the project's complete, yes.
So at the end of that, no road widening or anything can be done?
Not at this time. I mean, if those requirements were put on us, I would have to put that to our higher folks.
Did our supervisors hear that, if those requirements are put on them? Okay.
Any other
Anybody video of
questions?
that road yet?
Excuse me?
Anybody get a video of that road yet?
Yes.
You got it?
Whenever we bonded that road,
You
it was
videoed
videoed. Yes, we did. GEI, our consultants, videotaped it. Those videotapes were supplied to Donegal Township.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
That's it. You're not looking for any response back from us, right?
No, not this time. No, we'll provide you proof of the submittals or approvals from our stormwater management plans and stuff in the conservation areas.
All right, well, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Matt.
All right, moving on, we have, everyone I believe has received the packet on the information relating to,
Wait a minute, are we allowed to make a motion on that, on like saying that we would like the supervisors to consider road improvement?
You can make a recommendation with that for their consideration.
Can we do that?
you're calling for a motion.
Am I allowed to make the motion if I live on the road? Because I want everybody to know I live on that road. I think every opportunity we have to make these guys do any improvement in the township is good. I would push for it no matter what road it was on.
Yep.
All right, then I make a motion that we recommend to the supervisors that they are required to improve, widen and improve the road, the Delashon Road.
I second that. That makes sense.
Any further comments or additions? We have a motion, we have a move to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed, motion passed. All right, well, recently, the members of the Planning Commission received a couple pieces of information. One, the Pennsylvania Municipal Planning Code, and also a packet containing the draft zoning maps, ordinance, and so forth, for us all to review, look at, consider. Just briefly, I'd like to, basically the first paragraph pretty much sums it up. Please be aware the Board of Supervisors at the regular scheduled meeting on September 14th, 2016 made a motion to have the Planning Commission exercise the powers and duties described in section 209.1 B 1 and 2 of the municipality's planning code. This specifically requires the planning commission to handle the preparations of a zoning ordinance and a map pursuant to section 607 of the MPC. As you may or may not be aware, the township has already held numerous meetings on zoning and is providing to you the most recent draft of proposed ordinance for you to consider as you begin the process. I am also enclosing a copy of the letter from the Washington County Planning Commission after its review of the proposed ordinance. In order for the process to begin, the MPC requires the Planning Commission to hold at least one public meeting pursuant to public notice. You may hold additional public meetings upon such notice as you determine to be advisable. It is the township's request that public meeting, it's the township's request that at the public meeting, you have a stenographer present, create a record, incorporate the steps taken by the township planning consultant, Carolyn Yeagle, and including the questionnaires and letters from the various oil and gas companies. Once the public meeting is held and the planning commission is ready to present the proposed zoning ordinance to the board of supervisors, please notify the township so that it may move forward with the rest of the procedures required to adopt the zoning ordinance. Furthermore, the township is willing to assist you in advertising any meetings, securing stenographer, etc. So please do not hesitate to contact any of the supervisors. Along this line, this evening, again, like I said, my official notice from the office, oh, you really don't have any business to conduct tonight. A representative from our solicitor's office, attorney Michael Crunny, has come here tonight to kind of co-represent the solicitor's office as well as the supervisors. In brief discussion, I think there's a decent amount of information that we basically feel that you need to present us and our people here tonight with the comments you came to present.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, just to follow up what that letter said, under the MPC, the Planning Commission has the ability to prepare, consider, and recommend the adoption of a zoning ordinance and an official map for a municipality. It's my understanding that's what the supervisors took action to ask you to do, to task you with that at their September meeting. At today's meeting, obviously it hasn't been advertised, this would not count as an official public meeting on the matter. It's just more of an information and kind of explain to you what the thought process is, what you guys need to do at the very least in order to make a recommendation to the supervisors. You know, whether that be good, bad, or ugly, whatever you ultimately decide, there are still steps you need to take under the MPC in order to officially make that recommendation to the township. You've been given a draft ordinance that has been prepared over the course of, I don't even know how long it's been, months, if not the better part of probably 6 months or so, that the supervisors have been working with Carolyn Yeagle of EPD, Environmental Planning and Design, to come up with a draft ordinance. That's the 50-some page document you have that you guys were recently provided with. That's basically the end product of all their meetings, their correspondence with the public meetings, with Carolyn, her suggestions, with the input from Northwest, Columbia, Range Resources, as well as our experience in other townships that we've had, some suggestions that we put in, some other attorneys that have questioned matters. That's basically what that draft is. So that's a starting point. It could be an end point, it could just be a starting point for you guys. It's there, it's something to work with. My suggestion would be for your next meeting in November, that you guys take the time to actually look at that. I'd point you out to pages 5 and 6 of that ordinance. Pages 5 and 6 of that ordinance talk about the principal land uses, and there's a whole list of them. There's 55 or so of them. these are the lists of land uses that are being proposed to be regulated. And the zones, zone 1, 2, 3, and 4 here, you'll notice there's either a P or a C or blank for permitted use, conditional use. Some might be a special exception. These are all different types of terms for different types of uses. They're all laid out, the proposed on this draft on page 5 and 6. I would recommend that you take a look at these proposed uses, and then they're specifically regulated throughout the text of the ordinance, but look at any of these that might catch your eye. Compare if they're permitted, conditional use, those different things. If you have specific questions, concerns, notes, just kind of use this as a starting point. Mark those up, put those down, to then talk to Carolyn, to then come to the meeting and discuss further. You can email her and get some feedback on, hey, why is this a permitted use, or why is this, what was the thought process to this point? That doesn't mean you guys have to agree, but if you have questions, it's a good document to start with instead of starting from scratch, I think, and then you can amend it from there. You don't have to use this, that's just a recommendation. Like I said, this has gone through many steps already. I think it's a good starting point, but essentially, my recommendation would be to look through the ordinance, starting with page 5 and 6, to highlight questions you have, uses, if there are uses on there that are not covered that you might have. I know that there's been some talk already about a conservation district that was recommended by the Planning Commission, the Washington County Planning Commission. That might be something you want to look into further around Dutch Fork Lake. There might be other areas that you want to have conservation. There's also a proposed township map that should be in your packet for the designated areas. If you look at section, and I'll just draw this, I can send an email so that the board, I'm not expecting you to remember this now, but if you look at section 203, this lists out the different zoning districts. There's zone 1, 2, 3, 4, and an infrastructure service overlay district, I believe. That kind of explains what the different zones are intended to do, what the idea behind them is, and you can compare that with the map also to see, hey, Zone 4, I think, is too narrow. I mean, those are all things that you guys can consider. Looking at the different uses, again, on pages 5 and 6 of this zoning ordinance, it might not, you might think that industry should be a bigger area, or the township, where it's at. Those are just things you guys should note, where you think industrial, where you think commercial, where you think agricultural, residential, all those areas, what best suits the township moving forward. Because again, zoning, the idea basically behind zoning is that to help prevent new development from interfering with current uses, or to help better protect the township on how you want it to be moving forward. The uses that are here currently, if you don't want them there, there's not a lot you can do. Most uses are going to be grandfathered in, they're going to be considered non-conforming uses. So if you have a zoned area that's currently commercial, right, or it's not zoned now, but there's a commercial business right now, and you believe moving forward this is the best area for residential, that commercial building is not going to be affected moving forward because it's already here. That's a non-conforming use. It's basically to help you to plan and to help determine how you want your township to develop in the long haul, where you think certain uses are. Some uses are better not next to other types of developments. That's basically the idea behind zoning. So with that in mind, I believe it, and let me know if I'm saying anything beyond that. My thought would be that you would just, there's no action to be taken tonight, there's no advertisements on the agenda. You would just consider what the proposal is, start taking notes, and then come prepared at the next meeting, whether you believe that's in November, or if you think you need longer, whether that's December, to come and kind of share your thoughts. And then at that point in time, once you share your thoughts, you could then start taking public input on what their concerns are. I know that's been expressed over the last few months, but not all of it may have been addressed. You may have different opinions than what the supervisors had, what the public had. So that would kind of be the next step. To review this, use this as a starting basis, come up with suggestions, questions, things that are missing, things that are too tough, too stringent, or not stringent enough. All those things are up on the table for you guys to consider.
How can we meet without violating the Sunshine Act? How can we get together to discuss, if Jerry comes up with a couple things, I do, and we send back and forth an email, say, hey, we might need to talk about this. Can we do that without?
You can do information, under the right to know, you can have information gathering. You can't deliberate and make decisions. You can't take action towards decisions on that. So you guys could definitely have you guys could have a special meeting in which you guys, a week from now, you don't have to have it on your regular scheduled time. You guys can schedule these whenever you guys best fits out. And again, as far as an email, you can definitely send out an email with a question. You guys can't deliberate. If you have questions about that, you can email our office or email the township, and we can review that before, if you have any issues with violating, possible violations of that. But the basic crux is you guys can get information and ask questions. You can't deliberate, and you can't take action, you can't vote on matters.
So what is deliberation then?
If you give me an example, I guess it's a little bit, but basically, if Jerry Lynn is looking at this and she shoots out an email saying, does anyone see anything, I have a question, I'm not seeing where something is in this ordinance, that's just a question. That's information gathering. Someone can respond to that, hey, it's on page, whatever, or it's here. Or if someone says, I don't like these regulations, does anyone have any other examples of another township? Or, I know, next door in Independence, or I know next door in Canton or something, I know they have some on that, does anyone have that? Those are not, that's information gathering. That's not deliberate. If she's coming in and saying, I'm gonna vote no for this, I'm gonna vote no for this and you guys should vote no for this, that's more deliberation. It's more just asking questions, fact gathering.
But can we literally come here and have this review and information gathering?
That's what we have meetings for. That's what we're.
No, we're talking about.
I would caution on transparency being the key, especially on this issue that the community is very, not only divided, but interested in. There's both sides of the aisle. So if you guys are going to meet, I would suggest to err on the side of caution and to advertise it. And again, special meetings, you don't have to have 2 weeks' notice. A special meeting, you just need 24 hours notice. So if you guys can get together, you guys can do that. But again, that doesn't mean you have to advertise. Once again, it's just one of those things, there's a lot of things you don't have to do. What I recommend in an issue like this, erring on the side of caution, I would recommend erring on the side of caution.
But as far as phone calls or emails asking for a thought or clarification, it's not an issue.
And I understand it's a lot of information. Again, what you have in here is 6 months of correspondence, hours upon hours of work. And I think my understanding is that the township is going to ask Carolyn Yeagle, when you guys feel prepared and understanding this enough, to also come and maybe better explain how we got to this point. If you have questions, why is this here? Why is this zone this way? I mean, that might be a question you have, or, why are these regulations? And whether it was her that input it, whether it was our office, whether it was from community input, there should be some explanation of that. And I also spoke with Tammy, who indicated that she was also gonna forward to you guys all the correspondence that Carolyn has from the various operators, from our office and from the township members that would email her and ask her questions over last, so that you guys can look at that and kind of get a better idea of this is how it ultimately came to that proposal. And so again, it might take you 30 days, it might take you 60, I don't know what you guys feel comfortable with, but that's a start, to start looking at that.
So theoretically, whether it be next month or the following month, we review these, we make our comments that we're concerned about individually, bring them all together, and she could be here, for example.
If you request, yes.
Whatever the next meeting or the one after.
And under the law, under 607, you have to hold at least one public meeting pursuant to public notice. That doesn't mean you can't hold two. That doesn't, the supervisors leading up to this have held way more than one, but you have to have at least one.
But the public meeting probably shouldn't be set up until after that.
The public hearing, I guess, yeah, that shouldn't be set up till you guys are ready to fully consider to make a recommendation. You guys might read this, and you might be in agreement, I have no idea, and say, okay, we're good, but you might also say no. So that's only after you guys take a look at it. So however many meetings you guys ultimately need or want, that's gonna kind of be determined as this plays out.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Solicitor, you started by saying that the planning board commission could compare, consider, and I think it was amend.
Correct.
But are those the only freedoms available to them, is rejection part also?
They could recommend that there's no adoption.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any further questions from the commission? Jerry? Jerry? Okay, well, as,
There's another.
yes.
The only thing that we would say that the motion made at the supervisors meeting was fairly unclear as to sending it to you. We took it directly from the videotape, and it was a little confusing. Besides that, we feel it would be worthwhile to point out to you not only that, but that Donegal Township has exhausted the budget for Carolyn Yeagle, and we are now paying her additionally that's outside the budget.
Okay, well, it starts out with the Sweat, : I noticed that on the agenda there is an item where the planning commission would like to be identified as the planning agency for the purpose of developing the zoning ordinance and zoning map, and making recommendations to the board as supervisors. I would like to refine the motion, if I may, and then you can open it up for discussion. I believe the motion should say a motion to approve or deny the sending of the zoning map, the development of the zoning map, and the zoning ordinance to the Township Planning Commission, which serves as the planning agency for the township as defined in section 201 of the Municipal Planning Code for the formal review and recommendations of the zoning map and zoning ordinance to the Board of Supervisors in conjunction with working with the township's planning consultant, which